Hey there, 4xe fans. Going to do something today. This is the day that my Jeep is going to pass the 60,000 mile mark. It's August 15th, and I'm going to go do a range test. If you go back and look at some of my previous videos, I've tried to do this about every 10,000 miles because I wanted to track over time if the thing was losing range and all that kind of stuff. Well, if you've been following this channel, you know I just got a new hybrid battery installed just recently. That's the thing that's under the seat back here. They just replaced that because I did indeed have early degradation issues going on, and it's something that we're seeing with a lot of 21s actually. So we're hoping it's a bad batch and not a trend that is going to happen across a lot of 4xEs. And we're not seeing this at all in the Grand Cherokee 4xEs. Of course, they came out later, so we might have to wait till this time next year to see if there's any kind of trend with the Grand Cherokees. Similar battery, it's made by Samsung, but it's a different configuration in the vehicle. Don't know if that has anything to do with it. It's a bunch of stuff we don't know. So I'm gonna go do a 60,000 mile test, and I'm gonna pull the battery state of health to include in the information in this video so we can track that over time. And I might start doing that every 5,000 miles. And I'm going to create a what they call a playlist of these tests. I'm going to try to go back and get all those old videos so we can track along with those. So come along for the ride, if you will. Thanks. So as you can see, I'm sitting at 59,999, and so this is going to be a test of this. I just unplugged my EVSE from the vehicle, and I didn't condition the battery or anything. I'm just going to start it, go for a drive. It's a little warmer than I would normally like to do this test. I like to do it around 70 degrees. It's 82 degrees out. So that does have play a part in that. I'm not going to run the environmentals. I just want it to be the vehicle and the system. And I'm going to drive rather, kind of like I would normally. And we're going to see how this does. So as I'm backing out of the garage here, let me turn off my air conditioning. As I'm backing out of the garage here, I want to say right up front, it's estimating that I have a range of 24 miles, just popped to 25, and my battery's at 100%. One thing I have found since the battery has been replaced, it always gives me a range estimate of 24, and sometimes we'll even get to 26 by the time I get to the end of my driveway backing out. Now, one thing that happens in the 4xe community is people will look at their range estimate. I call that the guessometer. That's what a lot of people in electric circles call that, the guessometer, because that varies greatly based on how you're driving, based on the conditions, based on if you're running air conditioning and all that kind of stuff. So they call it a guessometer. The thing to watch is as you're driving, and I reset my A-trip odometer, I should say, by the way. The thing to watch as you're driving is, are you increasing your odometer at the same distance that your guessometer is going down? Like right now it's staying at 25. When I get to the 1 mile mark, will it say 24? When I get to the 2 mile mark, will it say 23? And that's what we're going to watch and track over the course of this drive, and see how that does. So right now I'm at 0.3 of a mile, and it just hit 60,000 miles, by the way. Big day. So we're going to see how this goes later on in the video. So just a little update, a little ways into the drive. I've actually gone 6.5 miles, and the range estimator, the guessometer, whatever you want to call it, it's down to 81%, but it's still guessing that I have 21 miles of range left. So I'm actually doing better than what it estimated to begin with, as long as my discharge rate is linear and I continue to tickle off miles at the same rate that it estimated in the beginning. So it just went to 20 miles, so it's saying, and I've gone 6.8 miles. So at this point, if everything continues the way it's going, I should be able to get 26 miles at least. We'll see how that plays out, and if that decline in range stays linear. So another thing I thought I should include in my testing process, I do try to go out on these country roads and drive in squares. That way, if there's any prevailing winds from one direction or another, it doesn't it doesn't really skew my test results or anything. Right now, the gasometer's telling me I have 18 miles of range left, and I've gone 10.3 miles. So already, I'm seeing this is going to be a really good test. I assume so, unless something really changes, because that by the math, I should be able to get 28 miles out of this charge. We will see how that goes. If that does, that actually kind of shows something to me that early on, when I first bought this, I never really felt like I had a really strong battery. Like other people were talking about how they could get 24, 25, 26, 27 miles. And I could get 24 in the very beginning. And actually get 24, not just what the range estimator said. And I was never able to get the kind of mileage that other people were seeing. Even when this Jeep was completely stock, that it's a Sahara, so it came with the the 20-inch rims and the nice road tires. But I've since put a 2-inch lift on it, and I have a set of Rubicon takeoff tires on it, so they're a 33-inch tire. The size-wise, there's not a huge difference as far as the height of the tire between the stock Sahara tires and the stock Rubicon tires. They look bigger. The Rubicon tires look like they're a lot bigger, but I took a picture of them next to each other, and the difference was not that much. Putting the tires on themselves only raised the axle like just over 3/4 of an inch in the back. So they're not significantly bigger. They're only 4 pounds heavier each. So there's only a combined of 16 pounds, well 20 if you count the spare on the back. So there's only 20 more pounds of tire on the vehicle. So I don't really think that plays that much into it. But even when this Jeep was completely stock and it had the running boards actually helped a little bit. At least the engineers found that when they were doing the tests, that the running boards on the Sahara actually helped a little bit with efficiency, and I assume that has something to do with air, buffeting up underneath and aerodynamics and all that stuff. So we're at 17 miles of range, 64%, and we've gone 11.7 miles in our test. So it just hit the 40% mark, and the range estimator is telling me I have 11 miles of range left, and we've gone 19 miles. So that's 30 miles if this holds up the way it's going, which is incredibly amazing to me, given that I'm traveling upwards close to 45 mile an hour. Now, years ago, when I first got my 4xe, it was really new. I never documented this. I went out one night and did a very unrealistic experiment where I was driving at like 25, 30 mile an hour. And when I took off from a stop, I was just letting the vehicle get up to speed just on what it would do itself. I was slowing down way slow before I got to a stop sign or anything. And I think I got 32 miles on that test. And that was a very unrealistic test. This test is more realistic. And I'm amazed at what we're seeing here on this new battery. So we'll keep going and see how this goes. All right, so we're at the 30% mark, and it's really interesting. I'm at the 21.9 miles into this test. That would have been my absolute max on my old battery, at least before it even started having issues. It got down to like 18 miles, 15 miles, 13 miles of range before it finally threw the P0BBD code that told us, it needed a new battery. So I've gone 22.1 miles, and I have 8 miles of range left. So night and day difference between the original battery that was in here. Now here's something really interesting that I have never seen in this vehicle the entire time I've owned it. See how it says 71.8 MPGe? That is a figure I have never seen. I have never seen it any higher than that. I think the highest I ever saw it before was like 55 or something like that. Now, that's not an MPGe number because obviously I haven't even run the gas engine. There's a calculation going on in the computer where it's figuring in that 33.7 kilowatt hours of electrical energy equivalent in a gallon of gas and giving us an MPGe figure. So it's not MPGe, but it's interesting that I've never seen a number that high. Now, I have been driving, doing a lot of electric driving. If you go in and look at my driving history, I haven't run my gas engine since last Tuesday, and it's Thursday of this week. So it's been over a week. I haven't driven a lot, but every bit that I have driven has been electric only. But it's just incredible to me to see that kind of a number. That just tells you that, I don't know, the chemistry is better, all that kind of stuff. It's just a way better battery than what I had before. Okay, it's just amazing. We're at 2% battery left. It has 1 mile of range estimate left, and we've gone 29.8 miles. All right, I just hit the 0 mile estimator on the gasometer. Still says 1%, I've gone 30.6 miles. And I imagine it's going to start the gas engine here shortly. But so far, it's running at 0 miles and 1% without it. 30.7 miles, 30.8 miles. And I was hoping I could get 31 miles. It seemed like that's how the math was working out there for a little while. And there's 30.9 miles, still at 1%. And there's 31 miles right there. Almost home. I'm going to see if I can get there on this 1%. Okay, just pulling back into the garage, and we ended up 31.6 miles on that test before the engine started, right as I was getting ready to pull in my driveway. So 31.6 miles, and the engine ran for a little bit, so it dropped that MPGe rating down to 67.3, which is still pretty amazing. And so 31.6 on the new battery. Thanks for being a part of this test, and I'm going to go in real quick and check the state of health on this battery and see if it's at 100%. All right, good news. Went in and checked in JScan and through my OBD reader and checked the battery state of health. It's at 100%. So do this test in another 5,000 miles and see how all that plays out. Thanks for being a part of this. Take care.